ado, thank you guys for showing up. This is Mr. SoundOff. This is our third episode for the new channel, and we are going to be tackling some different topics today, as far as going through NFL free agency, which we have been talking about that for the last couple episodes. We're also going to throw in, I love that, I bring it up all the time, we're going to throw in some baseball today in there, go over our today in history, and then also give you guys a song of the day as well. All right, so hopefully you guys will enjoy the content for today. And again, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Get the word out, let other people know as well, and hit the notification bell for the different streams that we do, as well as the different videos that we put out as well, separately from the live streams too. So, and again, if you are subscribed already to the channel, and if you do have notifications on and you're not receiving notifications when I'm sending out these live streams, hit me up either in the chat if you're here, or if you're going to join the live stream, or hit me up with a DM and let me know if you are receiving those notifications or if you're not. All right, so without further ado, here we are going to go into our first topic. Another thing I was going to say here with the first topic, I've been trying to think of, I haven't really come up with anything good, I feel like, but an actual name maybe for the first topic. If you guys watched New Heights at all with the Kelsey brothers, they got the new news, right? New news. Everyone that comes on there has a different way of saying it out, right? But it's awesome, right? It's perfect. It's got the two brothers playing off each other there with the different ways of saying it. And then when they have different guests come in, they'll say it a different way as well. But the whole thing there is that's basically kind of a springboard, a launching pad from them kind of just setting up the video, and then boom, they're into like their first topic. They're off and running, right? So right now it's just kind of like, here's our first topic. But if you guys have any suggestions as well for a title, for a name, for maybe what that first topic should be, please let me know. I'm thinking maybe I'll start coming up with some ideas and maybe throw out a poll on the channel as well. I'll throw it out on the YouTube poll, as well as on our social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, those kind of things there too. So anyways, be looking on the lookout for that. But for now, all we got is our first topic. First topic, NFL free agency, right? You can call it maybe day 4. You can also call it day 2. Just depends upon if you're going off of the official NFL season, start of the NFL season, or when free agency, when teams were allowed to basically kind of talk to these players, and that's when you start seeing some of the actual content coming out saying players were going to sign with different teams. All right. I brought that up in our last video that not everything was actually official quite yet. They were waiting until the first day of the NFL season, which was yesterday, and that happened. And so obviously yesterday happened, but what you end up seeing is like the player on the Dallas Cowboys now, right, who was going to go to a different team and ended up signing. It was reported that he was going to a different team, and then all of a sudden went with the Dallas Cowboys. So I said, keep an eye on this, because not all this stuff, some of these things are reported by players. Some of these things are reported by agents or by insiders, but not so much by the teams. It wasn't official yet, right? So even though he was reported to go to, I think was he re-signing with the 49ers? Let's see here. If I can find, now I'm going blank on the player itself. Oh, that's right. It was Eric Kendricks that was going to go to the 49ers, coming from the Chargers, right? So coming from the Chargers, he was going to sign with the 49ers. There was a statement that came out saying that he was going with the 49ers, and instead ends up, once the actual start of the new NFL season started, then he actually signed with the Dallas Cowboys instead. Right, so that was one of those kind of examples there. Not too many of those ones yet, but you did see some of these players that have gotten released either before the right before the start of the official start date of the NFL season, or since some of these moves have been made. I think some of the craziest ones, including what's happened pretty recently here tonight on Thursday the 14th. Is Keenan Allen now is traded to the Chicago Bears. Wow. That's a big move. That's a huge move for both the Chargers and for the Chicago Bears. I said that I felt the Chicago Bears were the biggest losers in the NFL free agency, after Tuesday went by, after those first 2 days happened. And, the Packers were making moves in their division. The Vikings were making moves in their division. In the conference, obviously the Falcons were getting a whole lot stronger. Obviously the Cowboys are still going to be there. The 49ers are still going to be there. I think the Cardinals are going to be a lot better. They're making moves. Everyone's making a lot of moves, and the Chicago Bears were seemingly kind of losing out on some players. Their trade value for Justin Fields went way down with all these different quarterbacks going to different teams. I still think the trade value for Justin Fields is far less than what it was just a week ago, far less than what it was just a few days ago. But this was a huge move as far as them getting Keenan Allen. I mean, and they were able to get him for a 4th-round pick. I'm always curious. I'm always not really so much curious, I guess. I'm stunned most of the time with these players in the NFL, what they get traded for, what their trade value ends up going for. Now, I know there's a lot of different factors that go into that as far as you start looking into a player like Keenan Allen, and you can say, okay, he's had an injury past, he makes a lot of money, how much years does he have left on his contract, all these kind of things there. But he had an amazing season last year. He essentially had the best season of his career just last year for the Chicago Chargers, and Justin Herbert was injured for a lot of that year, so he possibly could have had an even better year than that. If Herbert was fully healthy all year long. But he comes off of a fantastic year for the San Diego Chargers last year, and the Chicago Bears get him for a 4th-round pick. I mean, what wide receiver are you going to get in the 4th round of this NFL draft that's going to be anywhere near what Keenan Allen did last year, and probably what he's going to do something similar to this year? I mean, I guess that's a little tough. Is he going to be the number one? They already have DJ Moore there. DJ Moore can maybe fall a little bit more into like a slot role, especially with Darnell Mooney leaving. And Keenan Allen being your primary outside target. I think both those guys are kind of really outside targets, though, for the most part. So they'll be splitting time a lot. But on the Chargers, they had Mike Williams as well. They had other targets that Herbert was having to throw the ball to as well. Even Austin Eckler for a running back would take a lot of those targets away, right? So, I don't think that's either Justin Fields or Caleb Williams' rookie year is going to be throwing the ball quite like Justin Herbert was last year, even being injured. But the production, again, you're going to get from Keenan Allen for a 4th-round pick. No rookie 4th-rounder was going to come in and give you anywhere near that, all right, this season. And I'll have to see exactly where Keenan Allen was. I wasn't really seeing this move happen when I just was getting basically ready for the podcast here tonight. And this came by. That this move was made. So I'll have to look a little more into Keenan Allen's contract and those kind of things there. But, I mean, if the Bears re-sign him, and by the way, if they trade away Justin Fields or let his rookie contract expire after this year, and then they just stick with Caleb Williams, they're going to have money in the bank to re-sign a Keenan Allen, right? So you're talking, again, like a 4th-round pick for maybe not even just this year, but maybe the next few years, or they sign him long term also in the next 4 or 5 years. I don't think that Keenan Allen, with the injury history and the age, will get a 4 or 5 year contract, but I could see him getting like another 2 or 3 year contract after this year. So still, if you're the Bears, you trade away a 4th-round pick for this all-pro wide receiver for possibly 1 to 3 years or something like that. No fourth round pick was going to give you that right off the bat like that. Right. Some fourth round picks might end up developing into that. The Packers have a history of getting some guys that end up having phenomenal success, getting drafted later on. Packers are kind of known for not drafting a wide receiver ever in the first round. I don't think they have done it since, what was it, 2002, I believe it was. The Packers haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round, and how many great ones have they had, right? So that's a huge move for the Chicago Bears. And now all of a sudden you're teaming up, again, Keenan Allen with DJ Moore. Now, again, like I said, they did lose Darnell Mooney. Mooney signs with the Atlanta Falcons. So Falcons, where I was talking about the Falcons going with, their skill set players that they already have at running back, tight end, and wide receiver. And now all of a sudden you add in Mooney in there. I think he's been a player that has been overlooked overlooked and underrated. I think Mooney may be playing in the Chicago Bears offense, playing with the quarterbacks they've had. Hasn't really been able to put up the huge numbers. But if you do watch his game, I think he's a very good receiver, which also I believe that speaks to Justin Fields again. I think a lot of people have constantly been saying Justin Fields didn't have anything to work with there. Well, obviously the Falcons thought that Justin Fields did, because they just paid Darnell Mooney a lot of money to sign him for multiple years to come to the Atlanta Falcons, right? And last year, Mooney was there with DJ Moore, right? So, and they had a good running attack as well, those kind of things there. So, they will miss out on him, but still Keenan Allen is definitely an upgrade over Darnell Mooney for sure, right? And the Bears still they didn't have to give up that first round pick. Either one of them, they got two. They still have that number 1 pick, and they have the number 9, right? So now all of a sudden, you draft Caleb Williams, and then you draft probably a tackle. It's looking like, I would say, with that number 9 pick. They drafted a tackle last year, with their first round pick. So their offensive line should be pretty solid. They got the wide receivers. They have good tight end group. I think actually the best tight end group in the NFC North is there in Chicago. So that, as far as not just one player, but actually after last year, that was what I was rating last year. Going into this next year, the Packers might have taken that over, because they're two-headed monster that they drafted last year. Both of them were really good, so maybe that took over. But anyways, they have a good tight end group there in Chicago. And then they got DeAndre Swift as well. They signed him in free agency. So a good pass-catching running back who actually kind of reversed his narrative, where he was the pass-catching running back for Detroit, and then he goes to the Eagles, ends up having his best rushing season, but hardly any receiving yards. I don't think that his hands fell off or anything like that, though, right? So, you're gonna bring him over there, and the ball's gonna be able to be dispersed to a lot of different players. And if the Bears don't draft Caleb Williams, there would be absolutely no excuses left that Justin Fields would have with those wide receivers, that tight end, that running back, the offensive line they're going to have. What else are you waiting for? And if they don't draft Caleb Williams with that number 1 pick, that means you trade that away. So then you end up getting other players. I mean, you probably ended up getting, one of these top wide receivers in the first round, and then you ended up getting like another second round pick. You probably got a few number 1s down the road as well. But their team would just be absolutely loaded, right? At least they could be on the offensive side for a team that has struggled on the offensive side for a long time, and their defense actually started coming around last year. So that could be a team to really look out for, is the Chicago Bears with some of the moves they have been making, right? I would definitely say that with that one move would be the winners of the day in the NFL. Some other moves, though, that happen around the NFL. Calvin Ridley also signs with the Tennessee Titans. I thought that was a little bit of a surprising move. I know the Jaguars were still talking about wanting to bring him back. They ended up signing another wide receiver too, but they still were saying they wanted to bring Calvin Ridley back, and he had a lot of different options to go with, right? Like I said, I think the Falcons would have been a good option. They ended up going with Darnell Mooney, but that was I believe that was after Calvin Ridley already made his deal with the Titans. And for Calvin Ridley, you could have gone there to the Falcons with Kirk Cousins coming in and a good group as well. So there's a number of options that Calvin Ridley could have had to go to different places, but ends up going with the Titans. Now you get there, and what do you have? A second-year quarterback if he's going to be the starter, or a third-year quarterback that has done pretty much nothing, that has had some opportunities to start. Essentially, you don't know really what the quarterback situation is going to be like in Tennessee, and that's what you just signed up for as Calvin Ridley. So, seems like a cash grab move from Calvin Ridley to go to Tennessee right now, but good for him getting his money too. Let's see here, some other things here. Seahawks trade for Howell from the Commanders. So they get Sam Howell from the Commanders as a quarterback. Interesting move. I actually think that Howell is one of those guys that is a little underrated. I watched some of his games last year, and a little Brock Purdy-esque, I would say. I saw some of the throws. I saw some of the mobility that he has, and that's probably where I would compare him to, would be Brock Purdy, and which is weird because Brock Purdy, 2 years in the NFL, didn't even start the first year. Also came back from injuries, those kind of things there. But as far as like not having the overwhelming arm, not having the quickest feet, the best speed, those kind of things there, I would compare him to Purdy, and I would put Purdy above him, obviously. But an interesting move from the Seahawks, considering they still have Geno Smith, who had a down year from 2 years ago. It's still a pretty good year. And I guess, as the Seahawks, are you bringing him in? And I think I believe you probably are saying competition time, Geno Smith. Was 2 years ago a fluke that you were that good, and last year you were still way better than you ever were on the Jets and some of these other stops. But, are you more like last year, or are you more like you were from 2 years ago? Right. And so maybe Howell brings out the best out of Geno Smith. And if not, then maybe they end up going with Howell. And of course, either way, you have a backup quarterback. And both those guys have been backup quarterbacks in the NFL. So, although Howell is obviously much younger and maybe still thinking like he's still ascending and becoming a starting quarterback, I think both of them would have the mindset that they could be the backup quarterback on that team if they don't end up being the starter. Some other moves out there as well. The Chiefs get Hollywood Brown. That's a big pickup for them, from them having essentially no wide receivers until Rice really came on strong towards the tail end, maybe tail end of last season. For them to pick up Hollywood Brown, I think that's big. I think he's also another wide receiver who has not gotten the opportunities, or injuries to quarterbacks that have been around him have plagued him a little bit, where he hasn't been able to shine exactly like I think his skill set can show. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he could do. I think it was just a 1-year deal for him. So I think they paid him pretty good money, but it is just for 1 year. Like I said already, Darnell Mooney to the Falcons. A.J. Dillon is expected to, so far. It hasn't been made official, but it looks like A.J. Dillon is actually going to re-sign with the Packers, which I think is a bit of a surprise. I think everyone going into this offseason, I think Packers fans liked A.J. Dillon a lot. I like A.J. Dillon a lot as a Packers fan, but I think we pretty much thought the writing was on the wall that A.J. Dillon was going to probably be gone and Aaron Jones was going to be staying. Now all of a sudden Aaron Jones is gone. We have Josh Jacobs, totally unseen move there, right? And now it looks like we're going to re-sign A.J. Dillon. So, with Jones leaving, I'd love to see some stability there out of that running back group, and bringing back A.J. Dillon is I think a really smart move. And then besides that, as far as just those moves go, what does this mean for Jim Harbaugh and those Los Angeles Chargers? I mean, the Chargers also released Mike Williams, right? So they just released their two best. They just released one and traded the other one as far as their best two wide receivers for still a young quarterback in Justin Herbert. So still a guy who's I don't know, can you say he's figured out the league? Like, most quarterbacks, even baseball players, those kind of things. There, you really find out a lot in that second or third year. And Herbert's been there now for a few years, but he's also had some injuries, those kind of things there. But now you're just, it's not like he's already Aaron Rodgers, right, or Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, where you can say, well, we'll go ahead and take away their best wide receivers. We'll go ahead and not re-sign their best tight ends, those kind of things there. It's okay. We'll go ahead and draft all defensive players. That's what the Packers did forever, right? Because Aaron Rodgers will make it happen with whoever's there. This guy is still a young player. And now he's going to be under a new system with Jim Harbaugh. So I find that super interesting. They also let their main running back and one of the most productive and utilized running backs in all the NFL for the past 3 or 4 years at least now, in Austin Eckler. So your check down guy that you're throwing these little passes to and screens to and this kind of stuff there, coming out of the backfield, and of course someone that you can just turn around and hand the ball off to, in Austin Eckler, he's gone, right? And now all of a sudden you release Mike Williams and trade away Keenan for a freaking 4th round pick. Justin Herbert's got to be not happy right now. And Jim Harbaugh is probably sitting there thinking, I'm Jim Harbaugh. I'm going to win because that's what I do. And we'll see if Jim can make that happen. I know they did they were able to keep both their pass rushers on the defensive side. So I really think they're going to try to go old school, try to go Jim Harbaugh style football with the defensive side really running the group, and then a ground and pound kind of offense. All right, big physical running attack with a quarterback that can take the lid off of every defense out there. So we'll see if that pays off. But do they have the players to do it now? Right? They just let a bunch of guys go. So it'll be interesting to see if the Chargers are going to be making any more moves this NFL free agency this offseason, which is still super young, right? There's still a number of players still out there, trades that can be made. Then you have the NFL draft. So there's a lot of ways that they can address those kind of things moving forward here. But pretty interesting day or days from the Los Angeles Chargers for sure. And speaking of days, that's the end of our first segment there, the end of our first topic. And that leads us right into today in history.